Hello and welcome back to the podcast, bros. As always, it's me, Avizrat Sumargi, and today we are going to be discussing a very, very interesting topic, and that is the topic of Dasai or Vijaya Dasami. And this is a very interesting topic for me as well, as because most of my life I've studied abroad, right? So I have celebrated this festival in many different countries and in many different forms, but I had never known the actual story behind it and what goes on and why it is celebrated so massively in the whole Indian subcontinent and why it holds such a cultural significance in the Hindu culture, right? But it is it is one of the biggest festivals that is celebrated in Nepal, right? And this is a festival that spans 15 days with 10 days of important religious days, right? And typically it will fall in September and October, right? And in the Hindu calendar, it is derived from a lunar calendar, right? So we use the moon to derive our calendar. So that is why sometimes it will fall in September and October so that we can adjust the time period, right? Because lunar calendar is not as accurate as the solar calendar. However, but so Dasai is also the reason it is also one of the most anticipated and highly celebrated festival is because this signifies the triumph. Dasai signifies the triumph of good over evil, right? And we'll get to the story why it is the triumph of good over evil. But there are also other things that takes place during Dasai, specifically family reunions, right? Like a lot of people from all over the world will travel to meet their family and spend time with their family. This is also a time period where it is the time where we show respect to our elders and get blessings from them in return. And then this is also the renewal of multiple relationships. For example, you're so busy during the whole year, whether it be work, whether it be other things, that sometimes some of the relations that you have with your cousins or like your aunts and uncle and all, they tend to get on the sideways, right? But this is the time when you come and meet with all these people and then, get to rekindle your relationship again. This is a highly traditional ritual as well. So there are tons of things that will happen. For example, we pray to goddess Durga, pay our homages, and also there are sacrifices of animals and all that takes place. And this is also a time of high economic activity because when you are paying respect to your elders or your loved ones, it is common to give gifts or even money in exchange for the blessings that you get in return from them. It is not that transactional as I'm making it sound to be, but of course there's a ton of economical activities that takes place. People also dress culturally in this festival. Everyone is dressed in different dresses, lots of colors that comes, and lots of different traditional dresses that you'll see. And it celebrates the identity of the religion as well as the country, specifically Nepal, right? As I said, in Nepal, it is a massive, massive festival and people get offs and all that. The works stop, and almost all of the city become empty because everyone's spending time inside playing cards or having fun with their cousins and all that and all, and it is also a time of promotion of a lot of our of Hindu folklore and Hindu sagas and mythologies and all that and all, right? So that is the outset of Dasai. But why is Dasai celebrated, right? And this is a very, very interesting story. And so let me take it from the top. So it is believed that in this story, there was this king whose name was Mahesasur, right? And Mahesa means buffalo and Asur means demon. So buffalo demon king, right? And it is believed that he had a buffalo head as well. And he was a grandson of a big buffalo god, basically, right? And Mahesasur is believed to be a massive, massive follower and worshipper of Lord Brahma, right? And in Hindu religion, there are three gods that have massive cultural significance, right? Brahma, who is known as the creator, Vishnu, who is known as the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer, right? And these three gods are given they have the responsibility of either creating something in the universe, preserving something in the universe, or destroying something, right? So Mahesasur was a massive worshipper of Brahma, the creator, right? And Mahishasur started meditating and paying penance in honor of Lord Brahma for years. And then, because of that, he was blessed, not blessed, but he was visited by Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma grants him a wish, basically saying that because you have paid your penance and you have done so much worship of me, you, as a devout follower of me, I'll grant you a wish. And for his wish, the demon king Mahishasur asks that he should have immortality, but he was short-sighted in his wish, right? So basically, the immortality that he asks for specifically says that no man or animal should be able to kill him, right? And this leaves a massive loophole that is going to come, and we are going to talk about it. But Lord Brahma is annoyed by this, right? Because he thought that someone that's so devout of him might have something more significant to ask. So Lord Brahma begrudgingly grants him the wish, but he warns Mahishasur, saying that because of your wish, women are going to be the death of him, right? And Mahishasur doesn't think a lot about this, and he is an arrogant person, right? So Mahishasur is like, no woman can harm me, and he starts like playing his plan forward, right? Now that he's immortal to a certain degree, what he does, he gathers a massive army and he starts to take over three lok, or the three dimensions in Hindu mythology, right? And one is heaven, hell, and earth. So these three lok, he's basically waging war against gods, demons, and humans, right? And he wants to be the ruler of all three. So he starts having success in all three realms, and because of his success, the gods start to get worried because no men can kill him. Most of the gods are men, and no animal can kill him. So the gods, in their time of desperation, go to Vishnu, the Lord that is the preserver, right? And they ask Vishnu for advice, like, what should we do? How will we be able to defeat Mahishasur, right? And Lord Vishnu comes up with a creative idea, but he needs the help of the other two main gods, that's Brahma and Shiva, right? And they create Durga in the image of Lady Parvati. Lady Parvati is the wife of Lord Shiva, right? And Lady Durga rides a lion, right? And just from that, just if you get the image, she has multiple hands and she rides a lion, so she is a symbol of power, Shakti, right? And once Lady Durga is created and the gods somewhat are assured, all the gods pay fealty to her and are ready to support her in the fight against Mahishasur, right? And then the fight takes 15 days. So that's the 15 days of worship, right, that we have in Dasai. But there are 10 days of celebration, the more significant days. And those 10 days are the days where Lady Durga, because Mahishasur is a demon, he's able to transform into multiple different forms, right? So to defeat all these different forms, Lady Durga also has to transform into different beings, right, to take on Mahishasur. And for 9 days, they shapeshift into different forms, and the battle continues and the thing rages on. And on the 10th day, Lady Durga is able to defeat and vanquish Mahishasur. And then it is also believed that she uses the trident. Trident is the weapon of Lord Shiva, and she uses that to pierce the heart of Mahishasur and sacrifices him in a bloody massacre. And she is victorious, and not just her, but all the realms, all three realms are victorious, and everyone owes or pays homage to her during the festival of Dasai. So that is the more mythological story that we are told, right? There is a more different realistic version of the story as well, and this was also very interesting to me. So it is believed that 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, there was a real person named Mahishasur in the Indian subcontinent, right? And he was an evil ruler. And even he had a massive army. And he was beginning to take control of the Indian subcontinent little by little, and raping and pillaging as he goes along, and treating the people that he captures and conquests badly, the rulers of all these different smaller kingdoms and all that. So that's going on. And during this period, it is believed that there was a queen named Durga that was also kind of gaining prominence in the subcontinent, right? And she also has somewhat of a significant army. So all the kings that are defeated and the kings that are on the verge of war, they pledge fealty to Durga, the queen, right? And this is believed to be real people back 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. So Durga, with this newfound power and newfound fealty from all these loyal subscribers of her, basically takes on Mahishasura on a head-on collision in the battlefield. And it is believed that the battle rages on for 15 days, and finally she is able to defeat Mahishasura, and with a trident, by the way, right? Like, this is so, like, the way it correlates, it's very fun. And as I've said, her means of transport in the mythology is a lion, right? She rides a lion. So it is believed in the real story that once Mahishasura was killed, she feeds him to her pet lion, right? And yeah, so that was very interesting to me. And I don't know if a little bit of a plug for a book, but it's not mine or anything. But there's this very nice Immortals of Melua, that book, and that also tried to kind of humanize the mythology of Lord Shiva, right? So when I was reading this, when I was doing research and I came to find this, I was like, oh, so there are stories that can like correlate to mythologies, right? Like, these stories are so grandeur in nature that they turn into myths, right? So I think, I don't know if the myth came first or the story came second, or I don't know what's the reality of it. But there's this story as well. Now, yes, maybe you guys are a little bit tired of all the stories, but there is a third story that relates to this whole Dasai significance as well. And that is the story of Ramayana, right? And it's a very famous story about a king from Ayodhya whose name was Ram, who was exiled from his people for 14 years. And then during this exile, his wife is kidnapped by Ravan, the king of Sri Lanka, right? And Ram, with his army and his monkey army and all that, if you guys want to know more, please YouTube it. There's lots of story about Ramayana on the internet as well. But he takes the army across the ocean with stones that are blessed by gods. So he's able to create a bridge, and he travels to Sri Lanka to defeat Ravan. But before he defeats Ravan, and even Ramayana is a story of triumph of good over evil, so he prays to the Lady Durga, right? And after praying to her and meditating, he's finally granted the blessing by Lady Durga. And on the 10th day, Ram is able to defeat Ravan in open battle, open combat, and he's able to retrieve his wife, right? And that is why in India, when Dasai is celebrated, on the 10th day, they make a massive statue of Ravan, and it's filled with fireworks, and he's burnt on the 10th day of Dasera, and it is also a culturally significant thing. And some people in the Hindu religion, because there are multiple sects in Hindu religion, some people will go with the Ravan story and some people will go with the Mahishasura story, right? But these are the three stories that culminates in the whole festival of Dasai or Dasera, and it is very fascinating. And if you guys do your own research into this, by the way, this is a stepping stone, but if you do more research into these stories are fascinating, with like multiple complex characters and all these events happening, and so many small things that pivots the war in one favor, the other favor, and all that and all. So it is very, very interesting, right? So now that we have heard all of this, let me also preface this. So Lady Durga is, what do we say, propped up to be multiple figureheads, because she transformed into 9 different beings during the war. She is propped up to be multiple things, right? So one, she is worshipped because she is believed to be a fierce warrior. So for example, if you are ever going to do something challenging in your life and something that's really tough, then you go and worship Lord Lady Durga, right? So that you become yourself a fierce warrior and you get her blessing while going through these challenging, striving times, right? She's believed to be defeater of demons. And of course, Mahesasur, like I said, buffalo demon, right? It translates to buffalo demon. So she's also believed to be defeaters of demon. Not just that, Mahisasur's army is also believed to be all demon. So it just translates, right? Symbol C is a symbol of power, Shakti. So if you're ever lacking, if you feel like you're lacking confidence or like something is not going your way, even though you're doing everything right, it is believed that if you pray to Lady Durga, then you get more power and more confidence in yourself, and she blesses you with all that, right? Then the Navadurga, so the 9 days of battle where she transformed into all these 9 different figures, they are also celebrated in their own terms in different sects. So she's also the Navadurga, right? And then she's also known to be a motherly figure. So if you're ever going through a time of strife or something like that, where you're struggling really, you're going through a harsh period where you don't know what's going on, or like you've lost someone, then you go and pray to Lady Durga, and it is believed that she will send her vibes of motherly nature, and she will somewhat accommodate you through these trying times, right? And she is, of course, the goddess of victory, the symbol of power that is, of course, going to translate into the goddess of victory. So anything you want in terms of victory in your life, you pray to her, or if you're victorious after something, you'll pray to her, right? And that's why the whole of Dasai is dedicated to Lady Durga, right? So now that we've talked about Lady Durga and the stories, let's talk about the 10 days of Dasai, right? And the 10 days of Dasai are Ghatastapana, then there is Saptami, that is Fulpati, right? Astami, Navami, Dasami, Ekadasai, Dwadasai, Triyodasai, Chaturdasai, and Purnima, or the full moon, right? So what happens is on the first day, the day of Ghatastapana, you plant barley in a sacred pot or a vase, right? And this is basically symbolizing that you are, it's reaping what you're sowing in a way, right? And it is believed to be a very holy thing that you're doing when you're planting barley and trying to nurture it for the next 10 days, right? And then Ghatastapana, after Ghatastapana, there's a few days gap, and then the next day is Saptami. That is the more religiously significant day. And on this day, you bring it's also known as Fulpati. So that Ghatastapana is that the vase is religiously, the people do puja. Puja is basically worship it, and then ascend it to this holy level where you can now take it out and you now will prop it up ready for the main day of the puja, right? Then Ashtami is the day when sacrifices take place, right, of animals and all that. And this is the reason animals are sacrificed is in honor of Lady Durga, and we're basically offering her the blood of these animals so that she is enriched and her blessing falls upon us, right? Then there's Navami, the day of preparation for Dasami. Dasami is the main day of the puja, and Navami is the day when you prepare everything. So the Ghatastapana the vase, we have already worshipped it, and now it will come into the house, and now it is being propped up ready. All the tikas and all the ritual things that is going to take place on Dasai is basically prepared on Navami. By the way, during all these days, the animals that are being sacrificed, that are being cooked and eaten, and the families are sitting together, they're playing cards, and all these religious things are happening. Some people will visit temples, some people will go for picnic, and it's not just some people, it's like the whole family. So generally in a typical house, there will be 15 to 20 people, and in a more bigger family, there will be 30, 50, 100 people that are all coming together to celebrate Dasai, right? So it's a massive festival of feast and colors and fun things and enjoying and lots of transactions happening if you lose in cards and all that and all. And on the day of Dasai, this is the most important day of the puja of Dasai, the whole festival. On this day, the elders So on this day, especially, everyone in the close family will sit together, and the elders will put tika. Tika is basically, it's rice that's mixed with yogurt and a little bit of what do we call it? Red powder, color powder, right? So that it gets the red hue that the people might know comes with tika, right? And tika is put, and then that barley, that jamara, that is been planted on Ghatastapana, that is put on the ear, right? And the elder people will give blessings, and in return, like I've already said, will give gifts and all these other things. And this is the main day where families will come together, tikas and exchange of blessings and all that and all. And then the remaining days that follow, so which is the Ekadasi, 11th day, 12th day, 13th day, and 14th day. These are the days where the relatives that are not in the close group and the step outside and all that, they will come to each other and they'll put tikas and all that. And also the ritual of putting tikas and celebrating each other and spending time with family will continue till the 14th day. On the 15th day, that's the day of the full moon. That's the day when everyone will now go back to their own places, and then they will start purifying their homes, and then all the ritual things that they had worshipped all that day, that will be put back together, and then some of the things that no more used, that is put in the trash, and some of the things that might be used later, that will be kept. And basically then you are purifying yourself, your home, your weapons or machines. So basically there's a day of celebrating your weapons and machines and all that and all. So all of these things will be worshipped one last time. Everything will be purified, and that's the end of Dasai. And it takes 15 days, but there are 10 significant days of celebration, right? So that's basically everything, and it'll start from the new moon to the full moon, right? So that's pretty much it. So what are some of the factors that Dasai touches then, right? So, of course, we've talked about the religious significance, right? And the importance of Lady Durga, or whether it be Ram or Ravan and all these things, right? So it is, like I've said, it is one of the most important days of Dasai. One of the most important festival in the Hindu culture, that's Dasai or Dasera, right? So that's the religious significance. Now, there is also agricultural significance to it. And this you might be able to track in other multiple religions as well. Right. So typically, when a festival will take place in multiple religions all across the world, it is at the harvest season. Right. People are basically, so if we do track it back, and don't quote me on this, but people are paganistic in their religious worship. Right. So when you are paganistic, you celebrate the nature and all that. So when you are harvesting, that is basically nature rewarding you for all the hard work that you put into the nature, and now you can feast and enjoy and have fun, right? So it is also it is also the time of harvest, not just of food and things that we can grow, but also animals and livestock and all that and all. So that is why during Dasai, everyone will sacrifice animals, we'll harvest food, and everyone is having a feast, and everyone's enjoying, and everyone's together. So that's the reason, right? Now, the social significance of Dasai is that because of Dasai, everyone comes together, right? The massive parts of family. Like I said, it can even grow up from 50 to 100 people in one family that will come together to celebrate Dasai. So it is a very highly social event. And when you're flying kites, or when you're going out to go on swings, so there are these massive swings that are placed all over Nepal that you can go on and then swing on. And so during that time, you are also meeting new people from the community and all that. So it is a highly communal time and highly social time and all that and all. And highly economical time as well, because you're giving gifts or money in exchange for the blessings and all that and all, and you're playing cards with money and all that and all. So a lot of economical transaction will happen during this period. The elders will bless the young ones with money, or the young ones will give the elders with gifts or money. And during playing cards, so like you might be playing cards with your friends, so that time also there is a lot of transaction that's happening. So there is a huge economic significance to this as well, right? So in summary, it is a religious and socially significant cultural thing that takes place in the Indian subcontinent, specifically for the Hindu culture, right? And this brings togetherness, and this brings respect, and this also gives the feel of triumph of good over evil. People talk about religious aspects and all the folklore and all these different things, and also it is a highly fun time and really enjoyable time, and people will always look forward to this event because it's such a vibrant period of just social and economical activities happening, So that's pretty much it on the Dasai front. I will come back with another episode next week talking about Tihar or Diwali and why that is significant. And hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, on a sadder note, right, I have to mention that today is the final day of our editor-in-chief, whose name is Sirjan, and he's been working with us in the Podcast Bros for the past year that we've been active, and he's been growing and learning, and he's been teaching along the way to us, and it is a sad, sad time, but it is what it is. We hope Srijan all the success in the world. Hope he succeeds in his future endeavor. And he's going, of course, to Australia for a time being. So hope he finds success there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Srijan, for all the help and support that you have given us during this whole period of Podcast Bros existence. And yeah, see you soon, bro. Hope everything goes well. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode on Dasai. This was a deep dive on all the whole thing. Well, the stories, the folklore, the cultural significance, the economic significance, the agricultural significance. And yeah, please tune into the next one. And thank you so much. Peace.